Thank you. SANGRE GRANDE in the house. What a gathering of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Deputy Political Leader of the PNM, Mrs. Joan Newell Williams, responsible for party and elections. On the stage with me tonight, two of my cabinet colleagues, the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, the Works and Transport Minister from Sangre Grande, Senator Rohan Sinanan, your very own representative during our meeting tonight, Mrs. Glenda Jennings-Smith, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, and the newest, most vigorous missionary in the PNM's lineup, the very experienced and welcome, Rajkumar Bagalu from Kumuto, Tamana. My cabinet colleagues, our standard bearers whom you just met, and all of you here who have come from near and far, but mainly from Sangre Grande and environs, coming to this PNM's big tent, this tent that is open to all the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because our party fundamental document says we're not a party in the ordinary sense of the word, but we're rather a rally for all, cutting across race, color, creed, and class. And if they don't believe us, come and see us in Sangre Grande tonight here in this local government election. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be the leader of a party where my colleagues could so hold the fort all the way that tonight they've just given me 10 minutes to speak to you. They've taken up all the time and it's almost your bedtime. So all I can say to you is that remember I was in front of a crowd like this in September 2015, a Thursday night in the rain. And I said to you that if you put the PNM in government, good times or bad, whatever the country was going through, during this period of stewardship of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, under a PNM leadership, we will make the eastern counties a priority in Trinidad and Tobago. And you listen to us, and you put us in government with your vote. And tonight you got a record from Minister Sinanan as to the development projects that are underway in this part of the country. Because I want the rest of the country to understand that there's no way we could develop this country fully to our fullest potential to get the kind of growth that we're looking for and to give opportunities to everybody in this country without developing the half of the country that exists between Matlot and Toko and all the way to Moruga on the eastern half of the country. Half of the country, 5% of the country's economy is in the eastern half of Trinidad. You are the poorest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In every statistical analysis, you come out at the bottom. And I say to you, as I said to you in 2015, this is not going to go on forever. And we have begun to change it. We have begun to change it. And the commitment is this: that every child born anywhere in this country must have an equal opportunity to develop to the best of his or her potential. Every citizen must lay a claim to what this country has to offer. The oil and gas that we live off in this country belong to every one of us. So when I go up on the north coast and I'm on my way to Matlot, and there's this little village in a place called Montevideo, and a man comes down off the bank into the roadway and he says to me, "Why you all up here? You all have forgotten us." That man is a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and I have not forgotten you. And the only way those people from Matlot, from Kumana, from Toko, from Rampanalgas, from Sangre Grande, from Kumuto, from Tamana, from Manzanilla could be an integral part of Trinidad and Tobago, the first thing that has to be done is that this country has to invest in infrastructure to give them access to the rest of the country. And that's why we're building roads. And next to us is Tobago with its own economy and its own potential, and we are going to link Togo to Tobago. And of course, the healthcare delivery that we get in Port of Spain and in San Fernando and in Cuba, you have a claim on that here too in Sangre Grande, and that is why we are building a new hospital here. And that is why at local government, when we do the reform as we will do as sure as night follow day, giving you the authority to look after your own affairs within your own corporation's border, you too will be able to improve yourself, and the citizens of this part of the country will become what they want to be on their own resources, collecting and keeping your taxes, keeping your councillors in check, and making sure that you get value for money. Ladies and gentlemen, the work is underway. After 4 years, we can point to you what is going on. Imagine all the money we spend in this country, all the we do in this country. You are hearing tonight for the first time that there will be a licensing office in Sangre Grande. You are knowing for the first time that there's a highway that will eventually allow you to drive from here to Port of Spain without stopping at a traffic light. And ladies and gentlemen, you would know, even though you live this far away from Mount Hope and from Port of Spain General, that if you get sick in Sangre Grande, that the hospital is equivalent to any service anywhere in the country. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what opportunity is about, because you too have a claim on whatever this country has to offer. So tonight, I came here to this closing ceremony, I call it, because this is a ceremony. If they say if you try again. So I wouldn't hold it against Kamla for trying again. But you lost once, you lost twice, you lost 3 times, you lost 4 times, you lost 5 times, you lost 6 times, you lost 7 times, you lost 8 times, you just lost 9 times, and you're going to lose again 10 times on Monday. But that is for them to deal with. That is for them to deal with. We want to make sure that you take responsibility for who is going to run your affairs in Sangre Grande. And that is the power of the ballot. Doesn't matter what we say on this platform or any platform. It is you, the people, who will decide who you will put in charge of your affairs. So let me show you something there tonight. I came here and I saw these physical expressions. I saw these physical expressions of what $1 million look like and what $2 million look like. And you see on this stage here, let me explain to you all what goes on in this country, what used to go on in this country. That Rohan Sinanan there, is he an honest man? Do you think he's an honest man? One day I was home in my office, and he called me to tell me that there was somebody, a citizen, who was doing business with the state and who was owed substantial money by the state, and a minister of government had the check in his possession, would not let the man get his check, and he's telling the man that the man must pay him a certain amount of money or he's not going to get the check. The man decided to wait him out to see if sanity will return, and then the man realized that the check is not going to come. And he said to the man, if you bring $2 million, by Tuesday, you will get the money. He was giving the man a discount because he was asking the man for $3 million. But then he told the man, if by Tuesday you bring $2 million, you will get the check. The man went and got the $2 million. And on his way to the minister's office, the man stopped by Rohan Sinanan to show him that he was taking $2 million for a minister of government. He called me and told me what was going on. I said, tell the man to go and give it to him as normal, and then go straight to the police station and tell the police that this minister has $2 million in cash in his office. And say, if I do that, I'm going to get no more work. That is a physical expression of $100 bills to the value of $2 million. That other pile is $10 million. Let me give you a story of $120 million. There was a valuation done on a piece of land in Couva for the HDC. Highest part of that, the highest value that was placed on that land was $59 million. The HDC decided to buy the land from the man. The man got to ask for $200 million for the land. And even though there was a valuation, highest of it being 50-odd million, under the last government, the land was bought for $180 million. Understand that? That is that's $130 million more than what you could have paid. Ladies and gentlemen, that big box there, officer, could you stand back there so the public could see? If you pile up $100 bills to the tune of $100 million, that is the pile of $100 bills that you will get. $100 million. And on one piece of land, in one transaction at the HDC, those who were running the HDC at the Ministry of Housing paid that pile of money and more than that one. Those two yellow boxes there, they pay more than that. Excess for a little piece of land in Cuba. And the name of the project is called Eden Gardens. Understand that? But let me tell you worse than that. Let me tell you worse than that, and I want you all to pay attention, because I don't know how many of you ever saw $100,000 in cash. Far less $1 million in cash. Far less $10 million in cash. Tonight we are showing you the size of it. Not just a number, the physical size of it. Because a carry box could hold $1 million in cash. So in that pile over there, you have 100 carry boxes. But let me tell you what goes on, or what used to go on in this country. We were about to extend the highway from Golconda, where it had reached the point 14, when the government changed. So we had to award a contract for it to continue. They went out to tender just before the election, but no award was made. Election come, and we got surprised, and the election was lost mid-term. A contractor who was in the bid process was selected to build the highway from Golconda to Point 14. That highway turned out to be the largest contract ever issued in Trinidad and Tobago by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. $7,000 million worth of it. One contractor. But that contractor, before he got that contract, flew by private jet all the way to South Africa, where the Minister of Works was present in South Africa and there was a meeting between the contractor and the Minister of Works. I have been asking Kamala Prasad Bissesa now, since that happened to now, what was the basis for and the reason for that meeting between a Minister of Government of Trinidad and Tobago and that contractor? What was the basis? She has never answered. She has never answered. But the contract was awarded. The contract was awarded. And the contractor got into trouble in the contract. Halfway through the life of the contractor, which was a Brazilian contractor, went bankrupt and could not continue the project in Trinidad and Tobago. But that bankruptcy, or any possibility of that bankruptcy, was protected by a contract clause that said, if the contractor goes bankrupt and cannot continue because of the bankruptcy, of course, then the clause in the contract was there to allow the government to call the bonds, which was the insurance, and take the bond money as compensation. That happened before the last general election. The UNC made no attempt to invoke that clause and collect the money from the bonds that the contractor had put up. When we came into office, we met that situation in place. We decided to call the bonds and to take the money, to discover that the last day of office of the UNC, which was the Friday before the election on Monday, the last Friday before the election, the UNC took out the clause from the contract that protected the taxpayers' money, and which said that if the contractor went bankrupt, the people of Trinidad and Tobago could get their money back. The UNC took out the clause to allow the contractor to go away with $921 million. Ladies and gentlemen, if that box is $100 million of $100 bills, that gift that the UNC gave to that contractor OS by taking out the clause is 9 of those and more. 920. So it's 9 of that plus 20 of these carry boxes, if you see it in the context of $100 bills. This government had to go to court and to fight that, and to fight it, and to fight it. And while we were fighting it, Kamala Prasad Bissesa was up and down this country trying to tell you that my government was so incompetent and we were the worst, and because she knew exactly what we were doing. She wanted to break our spirit. She wanted to damage our confidence. But we are of the PNM, and we have the confidence of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And led by Minister Stuart Young, an experienced corporate lawyer, we got good legal advice, sound legal advice, and good court presence, and we went to court and we won the matter against the contractor. And then we got back to us $921 million. And what did we do with $921 million? Under the UNC, what do they do with $921 million? They take out a contract to ask the contractor to go away with the money. But under the PNM, what do we do with $921 million? We came back here and we issued a number of contracts to local contractors, and that money is now being used to build the highway on the way to Point 14. Would you believe that? Would you believe that? So this is what, just when you go home and you lie down on your bed, just imagine 9 of those. You need an 18-wheeler truck to carry that. That is what the UNC had given to the OS. And you all are lucky that you voted PNM in 2015 because the money had gone already. Because the minute they took the clause out of the contract, they had given $921 million to a contractor to go with it. And then they have the gall to come here in an election campaign and every time they take a drink that go to the head, Kamla Prasad Bisesa talks about this government which I lead as a corrupt government. Well, I'm saying tonight to all the UNC supporters, all of you who supporting Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the cabal, all of you know this and you're supporting her and you are dangerous to Trinidad and Tobago. It's not like you don't know, you know. I've been saying this now for 2 years, in fact more than 2 years. It is for 5 years I've been saying this. Have you ever heard a response from Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa about this? She knows all about Rohan and his land. She knows that she's going on platform with deed and she's going with this. And did you ever hear her respond to the allegation? And in fact, it's not an allegation. It's a statement of fact. She must tell us that she does not know and did not know that her government took out that clause from that contract, which had the effect of giving Brazilian contractors to share among all of them. Because if you believe that is love, they love the contractor and wanted to give the contractor $900 million just so, and if you don't believe that all who were lucky, all who are, Bible says, heavy laden, you have to ask yourself, where was that money going? We told you about Triep Overpass. That lady is so crazy. You know, she take a picture of Triep Overpass from here in Grande and showing you the overpass. But the reason why she's showing you the overpass is because she's showing you where Rohan has land. And since they're building overpass there, Rohan going to get some money for the land. And that is Rohan corruption. And that is PNM corruption. Because she's pretending not to know the meaning of the word corruption. If the government take your land, government have to pay you for your land. That is not corruption. That is the law. And that is the same overpass where the footprint was the same footprint going on the same piece of land that they were awarding the contract on in 2015. Because there's no other land at Triep Junction to build the overpass on. It's right there. But she comes there with a picture of it and a stupid story like that because she believes that because you are in the furthest part in the east in this country, that you're stupid. But you have proven to her that you're not stupid because on election day, you have voted solidly for the People's National Movement. But people, look how ridiculous it is. If she is going to engage the subject of the Triep Overpass, I would think she will engage it by explaining to you who was going to get the $300 million extra on the contract. Because she was going to award it for $540 million. We have it almost complete because the contract under us after tender, competitive tender, is $221 million. If she wants to talk Triep interchange, don't come here with nonsense about Rohan land. Come and tell us who in the cabal was going to get that $300 million. And you, the people tonight in SANGRE, if you want to know what $300 million look like, let's show them big boxes there. You understand? And how many houses in this country you can hide that? That is why they have to dig a hole in the ground and put it in plastic barrel all over Trinidad. You understand? That is what was going on. That is what was going on. We told you and we got your sanction to upgrade the infrastructure here. We are building an improved road from Valencia to Toko Road Junction right now. As I speak to you now, there are 8 contractors on that job doing what you gave us a mandate to do, which is to upgrade the road. We awarded those 8 contracts for $72 million. $72 million. You have 8 contractors, local contractors, upgrading the road from Valencia Junction out to the junction with the Toko Road. $72 million worth. 172, sorry. So let's say roughly 2 boxes. Boxes. Right? 100 million and another 72 million. Let's say round it off. That is what we do with the money we have. But let me tell you the worst of it. Let me tell you the worst of it. Under the last government, under Kamla Prasad Bisesa SC, the last time the PNM spent money paying lawyers outside the government service for work, legal work in the AG office, in 2010, it was $20 million in that line item. I want you all to listen to me very carefully. In the last year of the Manning government, 2010, it cost the state $20 million to pay lawyers who were not the government lawyers in the AG office. These are external lawyers, like senior counsel and so, who they hire for special case. The following year, which is the first year under the UNC, they brought that to just over $100 million. And the reason was that we had a commission of inquiry, and that caused more lawyers to have been engaged, and therefore they had this increase. What we warned about is what took place. By the time they finished the 5-year term, in total money that they put in lawyers' pockets, 14 of that big box, $1.4 billion of taxpayers' money was paid to a small handful of lawyers by the UNC in this country. That is 14 of those that big box there, if you see it in the context of $100 bills. I want you to ask yourself, who got that money? What did they get for it? And how could that have happened? That could only have happened if there were people who forgot the public interest, didn't care about the public value, and gave an enrichment to a select few. And you will understand why there are so many lawyers in this country who are so anti-PNM and so anti this government, but we don't care about that. We will tell you how they thief your money. $1.4 billion of your money. No other profession in this country ever got that largesse. Doctors never got it. Nurses never got it. Teachers never got it. Priests never got it. Highwaymen never got it. Lawyers. Lawyers. 1.4 billion. And then always want to come and tell us how to run the country. Set up blasted scamps, most of them. That profession used to be an honorable profession. Today, it is populated by a large amount of people without an iota of commitment to this country. Because you know what 1.4 billion could have done here in SANGRE? You know what 1 billion could have done to the port and the road that we're trying to build? You know what 1 billion could have done for all the young people in this area who would have got opportunities if we developed the area? No, not available. They got it in a 5-year period. And I tell you, had you not put them out of office, they would have continued with that rampage, and God alone knows what the final 10-year figure would have been. That's what it is. Look at that box. That box worth $100 million. What does $100 million do in the HDC? In the Housing Development Corporation, building affordable houses. That is approximately 150 houses. Picture 150 families being put in HDC houses from wherever they're suffering now. That's only one box. One box. But they gave OAS 9 boxes to go. You understand what corruption does to a country? You understand? I am not here talking about filling your wallet with money, you know. I'm not talking about filling a briefcase with money, you know. I'm talking about a truckload. That's what I'm talking about. And that is why, when I had that presentation to you about the billions that have been lost from the money we had in the bank, with nothing to show for it, you had to be thieving on this scale to have emptied that account and have nothing to show. You understand? Because they were not raiding this country in small raindrops. They were raiding us in floods. And then they come in here and talking about Rohan Tifa Bridge. And they come in here and talking about Rohan and Rohan and Rohan. If they want to call names, if they want to call names, I could whistle all them names. But leave them to the police. Because I told you all before, all of those who believe that they've got away with this, the wheels of justice turn very slowly, but they do turn. They do turn. And there's going to be a reckoning and retribution, if not for all of them, at least for some of them at the appropriate time. We in the government, there's a lot that we know that we cannot say. Because the minute we say it to you, they jump and play victim. And the lawyer friends start saying that you're affecting the courthouse and interfering with procedures. So we have to keep very quiet and wait for the criminal law to take its course. But let them not for 1 minute believe that we don't know them. Imagine our police, men and women, put their lives on the line night and day against a very resolute criminal element in this country. And when the police goes out there with a 10-shooter or a 15-shooter handgun or worse, you go in and meeting these people out there with assault weapons, AR-15s and Bushmasters. And when you meet one of them with 8 of those, and 2 days later, one more have 5. And we go to the parliament to say that if you have made a decision to arm yourself with that dangerous weapon or a hand grenade or a bomb, that you should be inside the jail. The UNC doesn't come to the parliament. But they came to the parliament to pass Section 34 though. They were busy in the parliament. They were all present in the parliament when they came and passed a law to use the parliament to create an opening for people to evade the court. So 15 years now, you're in the courthouse in preliminary inquiry, you can't get to the courthouse. They're in the parliament for that. We go to the parliament to pass anti-gang legislation. They're not there for that. They're not voting for that. All over this country, people are gambling left, right, and center, threatening the country's economy with money laundering, encouraging criminal conduct, and wasting our money in a very ridiculous pastime. And it's the only country in the world where there's gambling and there's no regulation of gaming and gambling. And the UNC is saying they're not interested in that. Not interested in that. But of course, we don't have a good boat to go to Tobago. So we go to Australia, get their help to borrow money to buy 2 boats for the ferry service to Tobago. They're going to the Australian opposition to try to encourage them to put the government in trouble, making stupid allegations against the Australian government because the Australian government helped us to buy 2 boats. And you want to tell me that these people are not dangerous? Eh? We go to Parliament to say that young girls shouldn't be forced into marriage at age 12 and 13 and 14. We said that they should be allowed to go to school. We say in this modern age, doesn't matter what happened before in the prehistoric time, but in this modern age, given the kinds of things that we have seen and that we know, and the treaties we have signed on to, we said girls must be of a certain age of maturity before. Pamela goes and brings in 3 men who specialize in marriage for young girls and come to the parliament and argue why girls underage girls should get married to hardback old men. That is their record. And they could jump high, they could jump low. That is their record. Everything we carry to the parliament is to oppose. Is to oppose. Is to oppose. and then they want to bring candidates to ask you to vote for their candidates so that the candidates could have executive authority to do what they are accustomed doing. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been the worst of times. It is the best of times. Things have to change. And you here in Grande, you started to change it. You started to change it. We met an arrangement to refurbish the parliament for $800 million. We took it over. I took over the committee myself as Prime Minister, put a committee in place. And we broke up the work into 17 packages. And we have almost finished the work for just over $440 million. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 4 of those boxes less. Big boxes, 4 less. 4 less. And we're going to get the parliament finished and useful. And while all this was going on, they know now how everything in the country is bad. They know every drain that is clogged. They know every drain that should be cleaned. They know every school that should be built. They know everything about everything, but they left everything to be done by the People's National Movement. But we are not complaining. Our back is broad. Our shoulder is strong. Our supporters are resolute in that they want Trinidad and Tobago to be the best that we can be. You, the adults, you want the best for your family, for your neighbors, for your children and your grandchildren. You know that hard times don't last forever. You know that being neglected for a long time doesn't mean that you're going to be neglected forever, because the PNM has come to your aid and your discovery. You know that when we are in government, if the country has a loaf as it does have, you will not only get crumbs, you might get a small slice, but you are going to get a slice. By God, you'll get that. Ladies and gentlemen, the election campaign is over. During this campaign, we told you a lot about a lot of things concerning your business. Most of the ministers came and gave you a discourse as to what is happening in their portfolio. We understand and acknowledge the challenges. We never promised you a rose garden. We never promised you a life without pain. We never promised you a life without hope. What we promised you was a vision where there was hope and there is expectation. We promised you that we will help you carry the burden, and we look towards a brighter future, and that is what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago today. It might not be our brightest day, but we look forward to a bright dawn, because dawn comes after the UNC. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your support. I thank you for your resolve. I thank you for being here in your thousands tonight, signaling that you know what is right, you know what is wrong, you know what is good, and you know what is yours. Your presence here tonight must send a powerful signal across Trinidad and Tobago that the people of this country see hope and a good future in the PNM and our policies. So thank you for your support for our candidates. Thank you for your support for the PNM. Come out on Monday. Bring out everybody. Monday is election day. Monday we vote in PNM. And on Monday night, I want to hear you from SANGRE Grande shouting all the way to Toko, all the way to Kumuto, all the way to Valley House. And we say, great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail.